Hello there, thanks for joining us. You're watching New Vision TV News. My name is Lynn Komjisha. Here's what's coming up. A Uganda Young Democrat member wants Bangirana out of office. General GOWON has dragged his wife to the Land Commission. And in around East Africa, technology boosts RWANDA'S made smartphones. From around the world, Trump has threatened to wipe out the Turkish economy. From our Pearl of Africa, did you know there are twin lakes in RUBIRIZI'S district? And from a local sport, the Giants crumble again as Wakisa loses to the Jogos. Hello there once again. Thank you for joining us. We come to you from the New Vision newsroom. We have news around Uganda, news around the East African region, news elsewhere in the world, as well as the Pearl of Africa story. Now, despite pleas from members of the public and politicians to have senior police officer Geoffrey Bangirana leave office after expiry of his term of office, he has adamantly refused to vacate office for the last 3 months. Through Kyria and company advocates, Mado asked courts to issue a temporary order restraining police authority from renewing Bangirana's contract until the determination of the main case. Mado, who is a Uganda Young Democrat member, says Bangirana's contract expired and has not been renewed to date, but has continued to hold office, which is unlawful and illegal.
Bangirana and other directors had a 2-year contract that expired in July, but up to now we are in October and is still in office. So we filed a case in August and a temporary injunction in September. Today has been the hearing of the temporary injunction for him to step out such that the main case can go on. Unfortunately, he has not been around, and the judge, we are told, is in conference. So the case has been moved to the 24th of October, which is next month. We are praying, one, for Bangirana to step out of office. 2, we ask the police authority not to renew his contract because he has already acted in a manner which is disgraceful to the taxpayers, to us, the concerned citizens.
Court documents indicate that Bangirana has acted or worked as a police officer at the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police and Director Logistics on a 2-year contract. Following expiry of his contract on July 16th, the Inspector General of Police, Martin Okoth-Ochola, ordered Bangirana to hand over office, stating that his continued stay would raise several queries from the public service. However, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Internal Affairs, Ben Mutambi, wrote to Ochola, instructing Bangirana to remain in office pending renewal of his contract, and Ochola reversed his order. Bangirana applied to have his 2-year contract renewed through the Secretary of the Police Authority recently, but it has not yet been done. He contends that Bangirana has continued to draw a salary and emoluments on the Consolidated Fund, which is a public property, and therefore it has to be preserved and protected from abuse and wastage. Mado claims that the defendants are transgressing the law in a way that offends him as a citizen and taxpayer. In a recent police advisory committee meeting, Ochola reportedly asked all directors whose contracts were due to expire to prepare to hand over to their deputies because the appointing authority will not reportedly renew his contract. Mado contends that he shall adduce evidence to show that the actions of government in failing to advise the PS and other government organs constituted a breach of his duty. Bangirana is still under a probe by the Inspectorate of Government of allegations of mismanaging procurement deals. The probe stems from a whistleblower's allegations the inspectorate, including the purported inflation of the cost of construction of Natete police station, which caused a financial loss of over 200 billion shillings to the force through the supply of fuel to individuals and accumulation of the institution's debts to more than 100 billion Uganda shillings.
We cannot allow our countries to go to the dogs when we have weapons. The first weapon we are using is the court of law. But we are very sure that even the public court, members of the public out there are watching and are following this matter. We are not going to allow impunity from anyone. More so people who are being paid from our consolidated fund, like Bangirana, who is under the Uganda Police Force.
However, the hearing of the application of temporary injunction did not take off because Justice Henrietta Wolayo was absent. The case was adjourned to October 24th for hearing. Bangirana has never filed defense concerning the matter despite summons by the court registrar, Sarah Langa. The registrar had directed Bangirana and the Attorney General to file their defense within 15 days, an order they have not followed. Moving on, Commonwealth parliamentarians who attended the 64th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference in Uganda planted 1,600 trees in various places across the country. This was revealed by the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, who also dabbles as Commonwealth Parliamentary Association President, during a live tweet chat held at Parliament today. Kadaga said the fight against climate change was among the key topics discussed during the week-long conference, and this was the main reason why the parliamentarians had to demonstrate one of the ways they can fight the global threat. The trees planted, she says, will be marked the 64th CPC forest.
In our final meetings here, when we were talking about the excursions, I proposed to the members that let us have, if we are talking about climate change, the main meeting, let us demonstrate practically. So when the delegates went out for the excursions, actually they planted a total of 1,630 trees. So I've told the clerk that we are going to put a big signpost, the 64 cities forest. At I think they planted at Gaba, they planted at the Equator, they planted in Kosi University, they planted at Kabul, they planted at the number of schools, they planted in Jinja. So wherever they planted, we are going to establish to name it the 64 CPC conference forest. So we didn't just talk, something really happened and they left trees in this country.
Now, General Yusuf Gowon today appeared before the Land Commission in Kampala, where he registered a complaint of one of his 4 wives trying to grab his property in Kawempe. Appearing before the commission, his 4 wives today morning, General Gowon accused Harriet Batanda of trying to grab his 1 hectare of land located in Kawempe, Kampala. General Yusuf Gowon was one of the senior members of Idi Amin family, serving as his close confidant and chief of staff before the collapse of the regime 40 years ago. Let's take a quick break. We'll return with more stories. Welcome back from that break. Now, the fate of South Sudan's membership in the East African Community will be known next month. Adan Mohamed, the acting chairman of the EAC Council of Ministers and Kenya's Cabinet Secretary for the East African Community and Regional Development, said the Council will meet next month, deliberate on delayed contributions from all partner states. Admission of South Sudan into the regional body caused some discomfort in many circles due to its prolonged conflicts and civil war that plunged the country into a humanitarian crisis, forcing more than 1 million people to flee. In Rwanda, Mara Group launched 2 smartphones, describing them as the first made-in-Africa models and giving a boost to the country's ambitions to become a regional technology hub. The Mara X and Mara Z will use Google's Android operating system and cost 175,750 Rwandan francs, which is $190 and 120,250 Rwandan francs, which is $130 respectively. They will compete with Samsung, whose cheapest smartphone costs 50,000 Rwandan francs, $54 and non-branded phones at 35,000 Rwandan francs, $37. Mara Group CEO Ashish Thakur said they were targeting customers willing to pay more for quality. We'll now take a look at news around the world. Now, Tunisia's presidential candidate Nabil Karoui received a hero's welcome as he walked free from jail Wednesday, days ahead of a runoff against a political newcomer. Karoui's release is the latest twist in a shock election dominated by political outsiders in the country, whose 2011 revolution sparked a wave of regional uprisings. His return to the arena as a free man comes at a time of uncertainty for the country hailed as the sole democratic success story of the Arab Spring. In DR Congo, 6 people were killed in the Democratic Republic of Congo after torrential rains hit the capital Kinshasa, flooding several neighborhoods. The bodies were found between Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. 5 people were killed in the capital's Selembao municipality, where around 30 houses collapsed. Now, dozens of foreign nationals Wednesday camped outside the Cape Town offices of the UN Refugee Agency, demanding to be removed from South Africa, saying they were no longer safe. Around 250 foreigners, many claiming to be asylum seekers from various African countries, vowed not to leave the premises until the United Nations High Commission for Refugees addressed their concerns. Wrapped in blankets, women and children lay on mats while men paced up and down, according to AFP journalists. News coming in from the UK. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has met his Irish counterpart for the last-ditch Brexit talks, with just days left to strike an EU divorce deal and both sides blaming each other for an impasse. Johnson sat down with Ireland's leader Leo Varadkar at an undisclosed location in northwest England for crunch conversations, following several days of recrimination over the failure to find a compromise. Now, in Turkey began its offensive into northern Syria, dubbed Operation Peace Spring, with the launch of airstrikes in several locations in northern Syria along the Turkish border. Footage filmed from the border town of Ceylanpınar inside Turkey shows the Syrian border town of Ras Alin and its surroundings as airstrikes hit the area. Smoke can be seen rising from several buildings and billowing from green areas near the city. According to the Syrian Democratic Forces press office, a total of 8 people were killed and 20 others were injured during the strikes in northern Syria. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan announced the beginning of the operation to create a safe zone cleared of US-backed Kurdish groups. From the USA, U.S. President Donald Trump told journalists in Washington today that he will wipe out Turkey's economy if President Recep Tayyip Erdogan tries to wipe out the Kurds in northern Syria as part of the Turkish offensive dubbed Operation Peace Spring. Trump said he will wipe out his economy if that happens, adding that he agrees with the sanctions, but he actually thinks much tougher than sanctions if he does not do it in as humane way as possible. Erdogan announced the beginning of the operation to create a safe zone cleared of US-backed Kurdish groups, with Ankara labels labels terrorists. Now, according to Syrian Democratic Forces, a total of 8 people have been killed and 20 others injured during the strikes in northern Syria.
I will wipe out his economy if that happens. I've already done it once with Pastor Brunson. I'm sure that I hope that he will act rationally. But you do have to understand they've been fighting each other for many, many decades. Actually, for centuries, they've been fighting each other.
We'll now take a look at news in business. In business tonight, regional legislators are putting pressure on the East African community governments to keep up with their membership subscriptions, with South Sudan bearing the most heat for its rising stock of arrears. Some members of parliament now want an October 31st deadline placed on the country to clear its debts or face sanctions. Mid this year, legislators passed a budget of $111 million for the 2019-2020, with more than half of the money coming from external sources. Foreign donors continue to pay for the ESC Secretariat's development budget, or close to $55 billion this financial year. However, the Arusha headquarters sometimes can barely make ends meet to maintain recurrent expenditure, including monthly salaries, due to the irregular remittances from member states. According to the African Development Bank, with the addition of Ethiopia and Djibouti during 2018, real GDP in East Africa grew by an estimated 5.7%, slightly less than the 5.9% in 2017 and the highest among African regions. Economic growth is projected to remain strong at 5.9% in 2019 and 6.1% in 2020. The East African community is comprised of Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda. Top performers in remittances are Kenya and Rwanda, while South Sudan and Burundi are the worst. In the middle lie Tanzania and Uganda. Last financial year, each member state was supposed to contribute $8 million to the East African Secretariat. And now for Pearl of Africa stories today, we look at RUBIRIZI'S twin lakes. Any traveler to Rubirizi district would call Lake Kamweru and Lake Chema twin lakes because they are just separated by a thin road. They are among the 52 crater lakes found in the Bunyaruguru Crater Lake region at the edge of Queen Elizabeth National Park.
The Western region is Uganda's tourism destination. As you look at the hills, mountains and deep valleys, here comes extraordinary views of water bodies that are concentrated in Bunyaruguru Crater Lakes region. The most eye-catching lakes with mesmerizing views are Lake Kamweru and Lake Chema. Many refer to them as twin lakes. They are about 300 meters apart, separated by a thin road. However, like any crater lake, these two were created as a result of volcanic activity. This was intense heat and pressure in the upper mantle or interior of the earth, which was brought about by geochemical reaction and radioactivity in the earth. After the occurrence of gaseous explosions that blew off the surface rock, a round-shaped, fairly flat depression was formed. As time went by, rainwater filled the depressions, hence the formation of crater lakes. Now the Banyankole, a dominant tribe, refer to them as Nyanzibiri, which means two lakes. From the same language, They adopted local names. One is called Kamweru and the other is Shema Shenzubu. Kamweru literally means productive of, as Shema Shenzubu means a school of hippos. The myth behind these names is, where Kamweru is, the crops that were cultivated yielded fruit, and where Shema Shenzubu is was an area that was always frequented by hippos. However, all these paved way for these two twin lakes. So when you go to Western Uganda, remember to meet Shema and Kamweru lakes, which are found in Rubirizi district. For more Pearl of Africa stories, visit our website, which is newvision.co.ug/Pearl of Africa. A newspaper, The Sun Division, is also another home of adventures, so grab your copy every Sunday for Pearl of Africa stories. I am Rothy Naseje.
Thank you, Ruth Nasaje. Now into sports from local sport. The second time the Giants lost another vital match against SC Villa with a 2-0 at Mandela National Stadium in Wakiso district. We have more. Wakiso Giants side started with a high position dominance and an upper hand to win the match in the first half. It was after Fahad Kawoya, Wakiso Giants captain, was rewarded a red card that changed the game in favor of the Jogos. The Purple Sharks has lost to reigning champions KCCA, Ondo Paraka, Bull, Villa and drew against Bright Stars. Villa continues with its brilliant start under coaches Edward Kaziba, and Ibrahim Kira is now second on the 16-team log with 15 points, one behind leaders Bull FC. Amil Zake Kakomo and David Owor scored all the goals in the closing stanza of the game. Kifa Kisala's Wakiso Giants is 8th with 10 points. In the next fixture, SC Villa visits Maroons on Saturday, 12th October at Luzira, as Wakiso Giants will face Proline on the same day at Lugogo. Amil Zake Kakomo and David Owor scored in the closing stanza of the game. In other matches played, Maroons Football Club attained their 4th victory of the season, winning 2-1 against Barra City at the Prison Stadium in Luzira. Vipers climbed to 4th on the 16-team log with 14 points from 6 games played after beating Police FC 3-1 at All Star Times Lugogo Stadium. Police, on the other hand, remains second from the bottom with just 1 win in as many as 7 matches. Vipers host Express FC in the next home game at St. Mary's Stadium Saturday at 3 p.m. On the same day, Police will travel to Jinja to face Busoga United at the Mighty Arena. And that was New Vision TV News. Thank you for watching. My name is Lynn Komjisha. We'll catch you next time. I leave you with a fact fire.